Good morning. I am Jenny Thomas, and I'm so excited to be here with you on Raising Kingdom Kids. For those of you who haven't hopped on before, welcome. Those that have joined us before, welcome back. I am a mama of four littles. I have twin boys that are 9, a 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And each of my kiddos have such a sweet and amazing spirit and gifting and needs, as I'm sure you guys see in your children too. As I've been raising my children alongside my husband, Clay, we've had the opportunity to overcome obstacles, celebrate joys. However, we found that we needed a community of friends and family that come alongside us to pray, to encourage, to celebrate with us. So today, I want to be your community. I want to be part of your family that comes alongside of you as a community to support, to pray, to celebrate with you guys. So each week, I get the opportunity to share my journey of raising kingdom kids. And then after I share my journey, we get an opportunity to go backstage and have a time of mentoring and community with anyone that wants to join us. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. If you haven't signed up before, click on that link and sign up. It'll send you a Zoom link, and we'll be able to go backstage and just really work as a community to support each other as we raise kingdom kids. So here is the link. See as it pops up here. Perfect. So click on that and join us. If you've clicked on it before, then you should automatically get the Zoom link every single week in your email. So check your boxes if you don't see it. All right. Well, today I'm excited to talk about today. I want to talk about planting seeds in our children. And so, for us, some of you guys, I know it's still winter, but for us, it's spring. Here in Texas, the weather's changing. This is the time that we start planting our gardens and preparing it and deciding what we want to harvest. But our harvest is a little bit earlier. We start harvesting in May and June because by the time July's here, everything's scorched by the sun. So ours is a little earlier. So this week we've had spring break, and so we've been working on getting our garden ready. And so we have big, huge boxes of gardens that we have all this special dirt. And of course, my boys, they research everything we need for the types of soil and fertilizer and what we need to do. And so we started going and getting those boxes ready. And as we're getting it ready, they're full of weeds. We don't get snow here. It's hot and humid all the time. And so we have tons of weeds that love to pop up. So we pulled all the weeds. We are rowing all of the soil, getting the new soil coming in, just really talking about, okay, what do we need to do to get it all ready? The boys went ahead and built 2 more planter boxes so we'd have more space and we could do some things like basil, oregano, um, garlic. There's just different things like that they wanted to plant too, but they wanted to be a little bit separated. So we're like, okay, this works. Then we all sat down and we did this whole big piece of paper and looked at, okay, what seeds did we save? And we had some seeds that we saved from like our big tomatoes, those gorgeous, huge, award-winning tomatoes, from some of our cucumbers. We had just various seeds that we wanted to plant. And, those are our favorite seeds that, oh my gosh, just keep planting, keep planting. We had some new packets, and then we decided on some other things like watermelon. We're going to have a watermelon patch this year. And pulling those out and deciding and getting things prepared, laying it out. And as we were doing that, the girls, they are so excited, but they love to make charts. So making a chart of when are we going to water it? Who's going to water it? And when's our guess that they're going to first start popping up? And, as we're doing that, then it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do with our tomatoes? Well, of course, they always want to stand to sell their tomatoes. So great idea. That teaches them responsibility. Yes, we can do that stand. But what else are we going to do with it? So we talked about we're going to make salsa. We'll have it for our sandwiches. We're going to have it for our salads. We can make some spaghetti sauce with it and just kind of started just thinking about everything. Our cucumbers, we have our pickles we can do with it. We have our cucumbers and onions that we can. Our corn, that's what we eat all winter long is for our corn is what we grew. We cook it and then we slice it off and we put it in bags and freeze it. And it was just fun thinking about all the harvest and the seeds and oh my gosh, these are such big, good seeds. And do you remember that? I can't wait to plant it again. And as I started thinking about that and just going, oh my gosh, the seeds that we are planting, it really stuck with me. And I was digging out in the garden and just kind of getting that soil ready and breaking it up in the hard weeds, helping the boys pull them out. And it made me think, as parents, we are planting a garden in our kids. And the harvest that we will see, that they will bring forth, that God will bring forth out of them. And so I started thinking about my kids. What weeds need to be pulled and what seeds need to be planted? When I started listing each of my kiddos out, Samuel, he's a leader, he's a go getter, he's dependable, he's always helpful. But what does he need in this season? He needs some courage, he needs some discernment, he needs to dream, be more confident. Adeline, she is so sweet and gentle and kind and caring to anyone, but she needs to know she has a voice and she needs to build some confidence. Addie's working on reading, and I'm so proud of her. She struggles sometimes with the phonics, and so we've been doing all this reading, tutoring, and working with her. But it's that confidence to read, to stand up in front of people and read. And I thought, oh, that's what we need to plant. Lucas, my very confident, silly, caring, he's the leader, he's carefree, he's my easygoing, he's the one with 10 million friends. And I thought, you know what? He needs to have courage to speak up, courage to follow his dreams. Eliana, my vibrant one, my funny, she keeps us on our toes, up to anything and everything, ornery as can be, loving, full of emotion. She needs self-control because she's so independent. So I got to thinking, okay, God, if we can plant these seeds that we've saved that have been like these award-winning tomatoes and cucumbers and plant them year after year and see them grow and have the harvest and the joy of it, can't we plant these seeds in our kids too? Can't we figure out what they need for that season, for that next 3 months, and start planting it in them? So the more I thought about it, I thought, you know what? I've got to do this with my kids. I've got to see this. So I decided that I'm going to plant a characteristic, a value, something in each one of my children, and just really focus on it. Just one for each kiddo, and focus on it as we go into this next season. So I had the boys go ahead and do a box for me. I'm like, I need a box. They love building, making wood stuff. So I had them get a box. And I filled it with dirt. And I said, Addie, you love flowers. I want you to pick out your 4 favorite flowers. And so she picked out her 4 favorite flowers. And I ordered them. We don't have them yet. I labeled the boxes, each of them with a word and the kids' names on them. Because you know what? If I'm going to plant this, they're going to see that as they water it, as we say the Bible verses, as we work through it, then they're going to see this beautiful flower and see that this is what grows in them as we start building this and planting those seeds. So we're going to remove, I was like, by planting good seeds, it removes that weed. We pull out that yucky weed that's not going to harvest anything, those lies that we listen to about who we are, that deceit, those things that we believe it keeps us from going forward, keeps us from being who we're supposed to be. If we start planting the good seed, there's no room for that lie anymore. There's no room for that weed anymore. And so as we do that, just more and more seeds get pulled in. And then our identity becomes, oh, this is who God created me to be. This is who I really am. Or when things happen, they're like, oh, you know what? Let me go back. This is the verse that it says about me. And so I got to thinking about that. And I thought, what if we planted a seed in each one of our children every 3 months, something new? Where would they be after a year? What harvest would explode? What would we see as parents? And so I started thinking more about it. So I'm going to read you from my journal. So I started writing it out and I'm like, what is character? And to me, character is what sort of person you are. It's who you are on the inside that then shows up on the outside. So I went and I was looking in my Bible going, okay, what is it? How do you value good character? What do others notice? And I made a T-chart. What is weak character? What is good character? And on that T-chart, I started listing things out. Okay, weak character, negative influence, lack a sense of right or wrong, disrespect, lying, cheating. What is good character? Well, it's the positive influence. It's the good sense of wrong and right. It's honoring, it's listening. And I was like, you know what? It says in Proverbs 31:10, a wife of noble character who can find. She is worth far more than rubies. So one good characteristic is far more worth far more than rubies. And so I started thinking about it, going, okay, if the character is so much, and I want to build a character in each one of my kids, what do I want to build? Well, for Adeline, it's confidence. Because she can do it. She is a good reader, but building that confidence to her to understand that. And so in my journal, I wrote down, what am I going to do? I'm going to discuss what area is keeping her from that lack of confidence. What can I do to help build that confidence? Well, for her, it's her reading. And so I'm going to practice reading with her. I'm going to encourage her. They get to go in our library and read to the younger children. I'm going to encourage her and go with her and sit beside her and have her go in and take some of those spots and read to those children to build that confidence. Because you know what? These little kids love to be read to. These little kids would honor her and respect her and help see how valuable she is and help her step into that confidence. And so I thought about that. And then I was looking at it and I'm like, you know what? 2 Corinthians 7:4. This is what we're going to put on her mirror. This is what we're going to write. We're going to do 2 Corinthians. I have great confidence in you. I take great pride in you. I'm greatly encouraged in all of our troubles. My joy knows no bounds. And you know what? The other two is God never fails you. He's with us every single time. So Jeremiah 17:7. But blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. And Hebrews 13:6. So we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? So if I start planting that and we put that out and we write the declarations and start praying this and putting it on her, can you imagine that seed that's going to grow? And her confidence in reading is going to grow, but it's not just going to grow in that. She's going to have the confidence of who she is, who God created her to do, knowing that she's got God right here at her right hand, holding it as she goes and steps into the next challenge or the next thing that comes out. For the boys, it was courage to stand up, courage to follow their dream, courage to continue to go forward. Because courage is bravery, it's fearlessness. And as I was thinking about it, I was putting, Philippians 4:13 to words. Row, row, row your boat. Philippians 4:13. I can do everything through God who gives me strength. They can go forward. They can build the wood that they want to do. They can be on their baseball team that they want to be on. They can have this courage to stand up and continue to move forward and believe in themselves. For 2 Timothy 1:7, for God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and self-discipline. And so I got to thinking about it. I'm going to put these Bible verses and we're going to say it. And each one of them is going to water their plant. And as they water their plant, we're going to practice what is confidence. We're going to do an activity that shows courage. And we're going to stand on those Bible verses because I want to plant those seeds in each one of my children. So that way, then they continue to grow in the character that they're supposed to have. Instead of the lies, the shame, those fiery darts that Satan sends at them, God's going to block them because we have this value. We have this seed planted. There's not going to be room for more. So I want to know from you guys, what is it? What are those words? What are those characteristics that you want to grow? The truth about themselves that you want to flourish into that beautiful flower. Words of identity that you want to plant right now because it's spring and it's time to spring forward those characteristics in our kids and let our children spring forward in the way that God created them, not the world, not what people around them or their friends are saying, but what God is saying. So I want you in the chat, what are those characteristics? One characteristic that you want to build in your kiddos, that you want them to step into. Think about that and put that in the chat, because that will matter more. And that seed being planted will last a lifetime. And they will plant that seed in somebody else. Integrity, yes, destiny. Integrity, absolutely. So guys, let's continue talking about what we're going to plant in our kids. And I want you to bring those words over to the Zoom, because I want us today to dig through Bible verses, to write some declarations for our kids. So over the spring, as we're planting it and planting these seeds, we can then see and start singing his praise in May when we see those flowers just blossoming, those characteristics just blossoming. So if you haven't already, I'm going to put the link again here in the chat, and I want you to come hop on Zoom. Yes, confidence, self-confidence, absolutely. And you know what? Before we hop on, I wrote about self-confidence in here and what we're going to do, because self-confidence is so important. Hold on, I'm going to find it here in my journal. So self-confidence, having a strong belief in your own ability, believing in who you are. So the big thing I want you guys to do is to look up. I'm going to give you 6 different verses to look up and start speaking over your kids. Proverbs 3:25-26, Jeremiah 17:7, Philippians 4:13, Hebrews 4:16, Hebrews 10:35-36, Hebrews 13-6. And you know what? When I was looking at that self-confidence, just because there's a lot of you guys that have put that, the big confidence builders are the first ones that I listed. But in whom is your utmost confidence? And then who will never fail you? Well, God won't. That's Jeremiah 17:7, Hebrews 13:6. So memorize those verses. And then go to 2 Corinthians 7:4 and start praying that over your children, because that is so important. Say that prayer, write that prayer out. Because self-confidence is the one thing enemy wants to attack so much that we so have to build. Because if you have that confidence, you can overcome anything. So let's hop on. Come hop on the Zoom. I'm putting it in right now. Hop on and let's go through. Let's dig in our Bibles. Let's pull up all those verses and let's start writing this. Let's start planting these boxes of these characteristics, these seeds we're going to plant in all of our kids, because it's so important. All right, guys, I will see you on the backside.